Hello, hello, hello.
What's up, Judah? How you doing? What's up,
I, I
Facebook?
I'm doing good, and I don't think that it is anything other than disingenuous for you to pretend to be doing good for our audience. I think that is. I don't know what's the opposite of crocodile tears. That is a crocodile smile you have there on your face because
No,
you're smiling on the outside, raging on the inside.
no
Dear
way.
listeners, dear
No
listeners,
way.
I have looked at the stack of stuff that Josh has prepared for us here to go over today. And he is not a happy camper. He is not in a good mood. He is angry. Don't let the face tell
No,
you otherwise.
Judah, I just feel like I'm staring down the gun that's about to be confiscated by the New York, by the New York government.
Staring
That's
down the barrel of a about to be confiscated gun.
that's
Oh,
exactly
that's
right.
that's exactly where we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is Judah Hoover. And this big old tub of goo over here is my good buddy Josh Weidman. We
That's
come to
right.
you every day at noon. It is the Build and Grow with Real Estate show coming to you on the Real Estate Hackers Network. We talk about real estate at noon for half an hour every day. We talk about the news, why it matters. We talk about content. We talk about we talk to an interesting guest. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we do content. On Thursday, we have a guest. And on Friday, we have we have an opportunity for us to do a news roundup, Armageddon preparation for the week. And Josh and I put together news stories that we think
Are you
are
kidding?
our Armageddon preparation for what we think is important to everybody. So my name is Judah Hoover. I am a realtor. Josh is reaching instead of putting up my
I know.
banner. There we
I'm
go.
flipping the switch.
717-766-7994. I just listed three houses. Well, I mean, I hung keys on three houses this morning that I'm hopefully going to get listed later on today. And I want to list your house as well. Zero pressure. The only thing that I do is I tell people what's actually happening, what's really going on. I will tell people if you should or shouldn't accept an offer, but ultimately it's completely and totally up to you what you want to do and how you want to structure the deal. But I will help you as best I can with 20 plus years of experience and thousands of real estate transactions under my belt. Josh, who the heck are you?
Yeah, before we jump in on me, I want to give a little testimonial for Judah here because Judah was about to put in an offer for me earlier this week. And one thing I really appreciate, so Judah is an agent, he's also my friend, and so when I see a house, like, I'm a lender. I've got access to the MLS. We underwrite deals by looking at active stuff in the MLS. And my wife is a house hunter, constant house hunter. She's looking at everywhere you can imagine, looking for deals. Well, this great property hits the market on Tuesday morning. She comes running down here right before we walk into the show. And so I said, Judah, can you set up a showing to go see this property? Judah schedules it for the first available time, 8 a.m. the next day. And what I meant by the conversation was, hey, can you set this up? I'll run over. It's in my backyard, but it's an hour from Judah. It's an hour out of his day running up here and all this stuff. He sets it up for 8 a.m. At 11 o'clock the night before, he texts me to confirm, hey, are we going to go see this house tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock? I said, man, that was great. I really appreciate you scheduling this, but you don't have to run up here. Anyway, long story short, Judah is incredible. He is great with communication and really on top of it when it comes to advising about best
And then
number.
even when there was another offer that was coming in that you weren't willing to prepare to match and everything like that, and I said, hey Josh, just so you know, they're getting another offer. You want to be over here. They're looking at being over here. If
Yep.
you're not willing to move, it probably means you're gonna lose the house, and just take that into consideration. There was no undue pressure or force or anything like that. And that's, I mean, when I was not 41 years old, I certainly would have negotiated that situation a whole lot differently. But
Yeah.
I'm just not interested in the stress. I'm interested in helping people and doing the right thing. And ultimately, you you get more referrals by soft pedaling negotiation with people instead of forcing your people into doing something.
Well, yeah, and beyond that, you were looking out for my best interest. You
Right.
gave me all the information. You even told me going in, hey, look, you're probably gonna have to come up on this price about $25,000. I mean,
Right.
it was a really nice house and yada yada yada. But bottom line is, I would recommend Judah. He served me really well, and I know he's going to do well with you. So, all right, my name's Josh Weidman. I'm a hard money lender right here in Central Pennsylvania. Hard Money Bankers. We have been lending since 2007 without break. When everybody else stopped lending in March, we were lending all the time. We were approving loans, funding deals. We had a big surge of people that were left at the table without the cash to close because their lender just said, hey, sorry, we can't fund. We're closing our doors. We are self-funded, which means that we can underwrite your deal in a very short period of time. I'm talking hours with very little paperwork. I can give you a number on what we can lend on the property. If everything looks good and you're ready to move forward, and again, you got your ducks in a row, title work's done, we can close within 24 hours. So if you're looking for funding on your next real estate investment, give me a call, 717-213-8488, 717-213-8488, or hardmoneybankers.com. All right.
So what's great about today's news is, typically we talk about good news and we talk about bad news. Today, Josh would like to classify the news as the awful news and the still pretty bad but not totally awful news.
Okay, so I feel like Judah is going to tell me that the dog just pooped on the carpet, but at least it's not diarrhea. At least we got that going for us.
Right, exactly.
So right now,
unemployment. Here's. Let's summarize the news, and people can continue to tune in if they want. We had a re-shutdown in July. We took, maybe in June we took 3 steps forward, and then we took 1.5 steps back in July, and as far as like how open we are and things like that. And so we saw 2 weeks where unemployment numbers got worse, and new unemployment numbers are trending good again. They're down, or one report doesn't make a trend, and also the unemployment number dipped, and so things got better in July, and they're not as bad as what people were afraid that they could be.
And at least we only lost 500,000 more jobs this month than we did at the height of the 2008 housing crash.
Yeah,
so look, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to be pessimistic for the next. It's 12:09 for the next 10 minutes, and then I'm going to be so positive because we're going to talk about something else. It's going to be
some of the good news. Some of the truly good news items are really exciting. So I definitely want to talk about that.
Right.
So what? So you think that we are? Well, I mean, what's also scary objectively is, yes, I mean, the numbers are ugly, but they've been ugly for a long time. They're not as ugly today. So 1.2 million new unemployment claims, 55 million continued unemployment, or 55 million people have been unemployed since March. So in a nation of 350 million people, 55 million, that's obviously a pretty big number, and 16 million, sweet 16 continued unemployment people. So right now in the nation, we have 16 million unemployed, but wasn't it like up near 20 not that long ago? So we're not.
Hold on a minute. I need a side note. We got to do a 10,000-foot view here, and I'm going to explain why I'm so pessimistic. Okay. Right now, housing's at an all-time high. Right. We're going to talk about exactly what the numbers look like, but it's astronomical. It's amazing. Anything that sits on the market for a day is gone with multiple offers. There is a ton of activity, demand. Well,
I'm telling my buyers right now, all my buyers, and it sounds cliche, but I'm like, great, we're going to go look at 123 Main Street. Start talk. It's listed for 155, or it's listed for 250, whatever. Blah blah blah. On your way over, already begin talking with your spouse about how much above listing you want to offer.
Yeah.
Like it's not, are we going to offer less or are we going to offer full price with no contingencies? The question, if you are looking to make offers on real estate, the question you need to ask yourself is how much above listing are you comfortable making your offer?
All right. So that is one piece of the economy. And the average income of people that are buying houses right now is $93,000. Okay. Across the nation, the average household income is 45,000. We have a situation where we have tenants that, what was it, 20 million tenants that are facing eviction as soon as these moratoriums end.
Right.
Number one. We have an economy that continues to roll out 1 million plus jobless claims every month. We have a restaurant industry that is in the death pangs, like they're in the death pangs right now. And if something doesn't change, the entire restaurant industry will be gone from this country. We've got other parts of the economy. Uber came out this yesterday, this week, whatever, and threw out some Q2 numbers.
73% is where they're now. That's their core riding business is down 73%, but
Right.
Uber Eats is up 120%, and they are also they're buying other door. I want to say DoorDash, but that's another competitor. But other delivery services they're looking at purchasing. Have you ever done any of those? I've never ever used Uber Eats or Grubhub or any of them to deliver food.
Uber Eats is really expensive. It's really expensive. I've used it a couple times, and what's the other one? I don't know. I've used another one several times locally that I've been really happy with. I don't know. I actually just did on Tuesday. So aside from that, okay, we've got all of these. We've got two economies going on right now. The stock market is close to, back to where it was before the pandemic. But what we have going on right now is we have a real situation of have and have-nots. And the have-nots are getting destroyed from these shutdowns. There's social unrest all over the place. And because these shutdowns are not like a normal course of an economy, and they are, they're artificial. The collapse of parts of the economy are artificial. We have major problems on the lower end of the economic ladder that are going to absolutely require some kind of solution. And the longer they go on, the larger the solution is going to be. And what we have basically is we have a government problem, a government caused problem, and they're going to come in and make a government solution to a government caused problem. That is not a good situation. The longer we have these eviction moratoriums, the longer this stuff goes on, the bigger this bubble gets and the harder it's going to hit everybody. That's where my anxiety and that's where my pessimism comes from. Right now, the housing market is booming, but with the evictions, with the forbearance that's going on, with the pending, foreclosures and delinquencies when the forbearances end, all of this stuff, it's going to come to play out. Like there's going to be a time of reckoning. And in the meantime, I'm not going to go down that road yet. In the meantime, we are spending money like it's going out of style. Like if we don't spend it, it's going to disappear and going deeper and deeper and deeper in debt. The last stimulus package was what, 2.3 trillion, 2.5 trillion, 3 trillion, whatever the number was. It came out to about $45,000 per person in this country. And what did we get for it? A $1,200 check. So with all that, let's talk about details and let's talk about the news, housing, the markets, and then some really awesome news. Go for it.
Yeah, yes. So I think that, the July jobs report is 1.8 new jobs, 1.8 million new jobs created for July. Yep. That's down 4.8 for June. So we've got new jobs. However, the economy is down about 13 million, unlucky 13. since the beginning of the part-time, or since the beginning of the pandemic. And this is something that you are very concerned about. I know this is a big point of yours, Josh, is that part-time workers have rose 800,000 in July to now our part-time workers are 24 million people in the United States.
This is a good time to I want to respond to Jeremy's comment here. Jeremy, I agree with you that, people that are being responsible shouldn't be responsible for the liability of everybody is irresponsible. But the numbers are so big right now that we're not talking about people being irresponsible. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But we're talking about people that they've been responsible, they paid their rent, but now they don't have a job. And the reason they don't have a job has nothing to do with them being a poor employee or them not doing a good job at work. It has to do with, the government just shut down the economy. You can't go to work. We're not allowed to leave our house. All of these C's are not even, they're not sending the kids back to school. Pittsburgh, the whole school system is virtual. You have, all this argument that we're having right now about, should we have sports open in the fall? Well, gee whiz, if you don't send the kids to school, how does it make sense to have sports start? But I'm for opening up. You know what I mean? But there's no logic here. It just feels like a TV show, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, the bottom line is, though, we're moving forward. The jobs reports are getting the job numbers are getting better. I think that what we're going to see, this is just my take, because all these job numbers, and the last thing we need to report before we talk about what this all means is 2.9 million permanent job losses. So here's what that means, and here's what that looks like. 2.9 million permanent job losses. All those numbers, as good as some of those numbers are, as bad as some of those numbers are, that's all before the $600 a month totally goes away. $600 a week totally goes away. So that hasn't been in effect for the past 7-10 days, but it's not really baked into those numbers yet. And it doesn't look like Congress is close to coming up with a solution to that. Trump has said that he is going to ham fist something through. My words, not his. And so who knows how effective that will be. But the thing is I actually think that when people stop getting that $600 and they're not getting something from the government to replace it, whether it's $300 or something else, it's going to force them to be industrious. I'm personal friends with one of the guys who is one of the 20 patent holders of something called random access memory, ROM memory. Good personal friend of mine. And Bill told me once, his Intel stock, the amount of Intel stock he has is through the roof. And Bill told me once, he said, when the stomach gets empty, the mind starts working. So when people aren't getting this $600, some of them are going to riot peacefully or non-peacefully, whatever. Some of them are going to make demands and whatever. But a whole lot of them are just going to figure it out. Are going to go work a side hustle, are going to start a business, are going to tell their business that they have to open again, are going to figure. I think that $600 was a relief valve for people's frustrations that is no longer going to be there. And I see that being a short-term problem. And no longer getting the $600 is a short-term problem, long-term good.
I will agree with you. I think the term the hungry dog hunts best. 100% is true. My whole problem.
I like that. First time I'm a collector of folksy down home country sayings, and the hungry dog hunts best.
That's right.
That is a new one, my friend.
Well, so that's I think that under normal circumstances is the case. But again, we have an artificial suppression of economy here.
Right.
And because of that, you know, people's legs are getting cut out from underneath them, and their ability to go out and hustle and do what they have to do a lot of times is repressed. All right, so we've got that. Let's talk housing numbers, because they are staggeringly good. You know, it's really
Yeah,
kind
listings are up 13% year over year, not month over month. Not, oh, we saw a dip in March, April, and May, and now they're up. Listings are actually up 13%, but inventories are so small because things are moving so quick.
yeah,
Closed sales prices are up 6%.
year over year.
Inventories are down 28%. So listings are up 13%, but inventories down 28%. That just talks to the volume and the speed at which transactions are happening. We saw huge volatility because of COVID.
Yeah.
So second quarter demand went down, like we talked about, 41%.
Man,
And
way-
then
yeah,
what's that?
go.
Yeah, went way down, but
Yeah.
then it shot way up. 40% is the year over year numbers. Nearly 50% of home buyers made an offer without first viewing the home.
That's nuts.
50% of home buyers have said, you know what? Like, if I get it under agreement, I will. If I get it under agreement, then I will do something, like, during the inspections, or whatever else. But yeah, so I mean, I think that we're seeing, bad numbers in the economy, bad numbers, but better than could be, bad numbers in the jobs, but certainly an improvement. Great numbers in housing, but with the last 10 minutes of the show, let's focus on some of this dead sexy technology that's coming out, and some of this awesome other stuff that's happening and going on. Because I frankly,
Are you trying to suppress my Friday? Like, come on, we got 8 minutes. We got to stick to 30-minute show.
I'm just trying to keep it moving for our dear listeners out there, who we greatly appreciate, by the way.
Yeah.
We greatly appreciate. I mean, I was kind of a little bit down on one of our numbers earlier this week. Like Tuesday was a little bit of an off day, but then an after hours viewing, it like doubled. And I looked back to, like, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the low number that I was complaining about was like some of our high numbers from even just a few weeks ago. So we are getting more and more people are finding this show and tuning in, and the only reason that happens is because you're liking the show, you're sharing the show, you're telling other people about this show, and we're just two real guys trying to really talk about what's going on in real estate and the way we see it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we appreciate everybody who is tuning in and reaching out to us before and after the shows, telling us what they like and what they think we need to improve upon. Believe me, we hear all that stuff, and it's very meaningful to us.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a comment from Carson making fun of my ears. Man, I love these ears. They work great. Cauliflower ear, that's good stuff. But listen, we just love our comments. If you've got anything to say here, throw it out there. We love the open conversation.
You were quite the wrestler back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah. I got 20 years of mat time on my ears. So
nice. That's great.
But, all right, so there's a couple more housing items that I wanted to look at. You know what? Let's jump into fun stuff. We might as well.
Please.
All right. So really cool stuff. Actually, there are three items that I want to look at. There is an attack right now on our civil liberties. If you need more evidence, people have been talking about this on Facebook and going crazy about it for months now. But if you need more proof, 3 new news items to consider. Number one is in line with the First Amendment. California just announced that they will be turning off electric and water to large group gatherings. This came just after a lawsuit was filed by a large church in California, pushing to allow their constituents to come to church service on Sunday. That's the first one. The second one is in New York. The Attorney General just filed a lawsuit to dismantle the NRA, citing years of self-dealing. Now, if this was it seems like there's some shady stuff going on with the NRA. It really does. In basic news, sounds like there's some things that were improper being done. And if this news item were standalone and by itself, wouldn't even bring it up. In fact, I'd be embarrassed for the NRA and probably behind the Attorney
Well, yeah.
General.
The problem is how this would be handled. Forget about the fact that the NRA is the National Rifle Association. Funds a lot of right wing and Republican causes and other things like that. And there's a lot of people who are very loyal members. If this was any other company, group, or organization, they would fine the organization millions of dollars or potentially tens of $1,000,000. They would seek jail time maybe for some of the leaders. They would sanction, they would do this, they would do that. It is, I mean, there's like the NRA has like 5, 6, 10 million members, something like that. I forget. Like it's a big member organization. And to try and dismantle them, a large organization, because of what a few of the leaders did, is blatantly political, is blatantly, and I'm a Second Amendment guy, so it's hard for me to objectively say that it's blatantly political, but like objectively, it's an overreach, and we're just seeing so much political overreach, and it's affecting so much.
Yep. Last but not least, a Chicago state congressperson presented a law this week stating that the history of the United States is racist, so let's get it out of our public schools. Proposed stopping the teaching of history in our public school system. Now, let's put this in perspective. What do they always say? Like, we'll never forget. You have to know your history or you're condemned to repeat it. Like, come on. This is absolutely insane. All right. Now, the fun stuff. As loyal listeners probably know, I love technology. It gets me so excited.
I thought you were going to say Elon Musk, but yes.
I do love Elon Musk, but I love technology. I love all of the cool things that are coming out in the public domain that companies and individuals are inventing and putting into play. Well, RMIT in Melbourne, Australia, announced this week that they've developed a spray for glass, for windows. The Empire State Building replaced all of the windows in the building with something called smart glass. And smart glass allows you to to basically generate electricity from the light that is hitting the windows. And it also reflects a lot of the light using low E, which is molecular aluminum that's sprayed onto the outside of the windows to reflect a lot of the heat transfer. So it keeps the building more energy efficient, but it also generates electricity. It's really cool. The problem with smart glass is it's super expensive. The school in Melbourne, they developed a spray that you can spray onto existing windows, existing glass that has the same qualities, the same effects. It is nearly as as effective at a fraction of the cost. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Smart glass technology is really good, and we're seeing a whole lot of improvements and energy efficiencies that come because of it. About 10 years ago, I dabbled in making homes energy efficient. After the crash, and wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do or where I was going to end up, I would go into people's houses. I would do an energy audit, and I would say, okay, Josh, I would recommend we do this improvement, this improvement, this improvement, and that'll cost you $15,000, but I'll take your energy bill from $500 a month in the winter to $300 a month in the winter, and you can annualize that, and it's the opposite of an investment. You know what I mean? Instead of spending so much money to make a dividend, you just spend so much money to save money, which, as our grandmothers always told us, a penny saved is a penny earned. And I was really good at selling that. And there's a lot of really neat technology out there that the average homeowners just do not know about. and I was able to line up the financing to make it all happen and everything like that. It worked out really great. The bottom line is the fact that this has come out with a spray now, super cheap, is going to be, this is an aftermarket spray. The idea is that they'll put it on afterwards, but it's only a matter of time till it's put, till they're just pre-treating glass like this wholesale before it's even installed in buildings, and that will drop the price even lower, which will make it even more readily available.
All right. Maybe the best technology to come out of the COVID crisis. Ready for this?
Yep.
A company in Japan developed a smart mask. The mask, in conjunction with with your cell phone, it amplifies the speaker's voice. Kind of interesting. Good idea. But it also translates the language into 8 different languages. If you're speaking Japanese, it will translate into Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, Indonesian, English, Spanish, and French. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a big fan, even though he's an atheist, of Douglas Adams' books, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And, one of the things that they do is, they put the babblefish in the ear, and the babblefish, just translates all language and everything like that from every humanoid species. We continue to get closer and closer to that. Yeah. And what's funny is everybody's wearing masks now. And I was talking to somebody the other day who they were at my favorite coffee place down in Philadelphia called La Colombe. The temple of great coffee is La Colombe. Yeah. And La Colombe, the guy's wearing a mask, he's behind plexiglass, and there's music. And I'm hard of hearing, so I would have had a hard time. This person who was telling me this has 0 hearing problems, and they were like, I couldn't understand what the guy was saying. So there's definitely, as the saying goes, necessity is the mother of all invention. So masks like this that not only amplify your voice, but can real-time translate it. And that technology has gotten a whole lot better. Like, I used to not like talk to text. People do that. They talk to text and then they, send it, because there was too many times it misunderstood what I was saying. Puppies became puppets and things like that. Well, now talk to text is so good because it can figure out what word it should be. So not only what word does it sound like, but also what word should it be. And it takes both those pieces together. And so talk to text is much more accurate even than it was 3 years ago, which is the same kernel for my programming friends out there. It's the same technology kernel that they use to build the interpretive translative languages on. So it's amazing what is coming right down the road.
Well, so this is going to be a great bridge until everybody has Neuralink and can just download the language, into their brain and then speak it, like a native speaker. But, we'll get there. We'll get there.
For those of us that read, like, and appreciate the Old Testament, we're getting pretty close to Tower of Babel times. And the last time the human race all spoke the same language, it didn't have any language barriers between us. It didn't really work out so well for us. So I'm a little bit nervous. Optimistic, yes. Nervous at the same time.
All right. So the last 2 stories are feel-good stories, right? There is there's a parish in Yardley, Pennsylvania. Shout out to the the St. Andrew's Parish in Yardley, PA. Before COVID,
bustling metropolis of Yardley, Pennsylvania.
Yardley's awesome. Yardley is beautiful. If you've never, it's like it's a community full of estates and stately homes,
right?
with plenty of land. So this community for 37 years has been having an open soup kitchen where they serve anybody who shows up once a week. They've got an open house, right? Well, during COVID, for the first time in 37 years, they had to shut down the soup kitchen. And the parishioners said, you know what? We're shutting down the soup kitchen at a time when people are going to need it the most.
Right.
So instead of serving less people, They've increased their production by 1,000%. They're serving 10 times the number of people. They're delivering 1,000 meals a week, plus an additional 400 containers of soup every single week since the COVID shutdown to people that need it. And, I think that deserves a lot of kudos and applause. So hooray for them. And, it's just nice to know that good people are doing good things in the world.
Yeah, I know a number of places like this, that things have required them to do things differently. A buddy of mine has a small little farmette near Lidditz, and some local soup kitchens closed down because of like the facilities they were in.
Yeah.
And so they just started giving away free produce, and more they're getting free produce from markets that can't sell them. And he has 300 to 500 people now showing up at his little farmette in the community up there in Lidditz, just giving away. There's a lot of ways that people have responded in very positive ways. All right, last feel good story of the day, Josh, and then we got to sign off, my friend.
All right, beautiful. So the PGA Championship started yesterday.
Yep.
And just like every other sport, all of the competitors had to get tested for COVID. 0 infections. That's a good thing. I bring this up because Danny Balin, brother of Hard Money Bankers co-founder Jason Balin, is starting his second round today at 3:30. He's playing in the PGA Championships. If you want to check it out, it started yesterday and will continue till the 9th, which is Sunday. In the finals, you can check it out on CBS Sports. So shout out to Danny Balin. Go get him. And yeah, that's all the news that's fit the print for the week.
Absolutely. So listen, everybody, we thank you very much for tuning in to us this week. We had another record week of viewership, and we appreciate our viewers and listeners so very much. Like the show, share the show, tell other people about the show. Tell us what we need to do different on the show. Tell us what you like about the show. We are always interested in feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. And we will see you guys here at noon next week.
All right, guys. Have a good weekend.